I want you to look at this poster we have, and it's been in the room, in the assembly room, so you could all see it. And then take a good look at the person sitting next to you. Is there anybody in this group who looks like you? I bet there isn't. Well, there's nobody who looks exactly like you. And you can see in this picture that there are all these faces. And look how different they are. And look how different your faces are. There might be somebody they say looks like you, but they call that a doppelganger. That's a big word. But there isn't anybody who looks exactly like you, and you don't look exactly like anyone in this picture. And it says on there that come to the United Nations, it's your world. Because, Tamir, what are you doing? Don't you blow that bubble and get that bubble gum in her hair. Okay, so we see that these are all the nations of the world sitting there in the General Assembly at the United Nations. The faces are different. You see the hair, the complexion, everything is different. And we as Unitarians celebrate the dignity and worth of all these people. You wonder, how did everybody get to look so different? Because all people, we say, came from a group of people in Africa millions of years ago. But they have changed because they were in the icy climate, and their skin became lighter, and their hair became straight, and their faces became wrinkled as they were on the mountains, so that everybody looks different. So we are celebrating the 70th anniversary of the United Nations this week. It was born October 24th, 1945. And we want to keep it alive and well because we as Unitarians work very hard to do that. All these people, a lot of these people are fighting each other. And we say, well, why are they fighting? Well, it seems that climate change is a problem because many of them who lived together pretty well, even though they had different religions, they're finding now that there isn't enough water, and their land is turning to desert, and they are moving toward the cities, and so they're having a pretty hard time making it. But still, the United Nations is working for so that we can have peace in the world. Today we are going to share the plate, as we have done for several years now, with the Unitarian Universalist United Nations organization. And we are constantly helping that organization because it is our voice at the United Nations. Our voice at that United Nations, so that we as Unitarians might be one of those little people sitting down in that audience. And we are called, UUUNA is called a non-governmental organization. So we can bring issues before the United Nations and they will listen to them. For instance, the UUUNO, our organization, was instrumental in bringing the issue of lesbian, gay, and transgender rights to the United Nations and making a resolution about it so that the lesbians, gays, and transgender people could have full human rights. And you will see on the altar some of the flags that represent the countries of the United Nations. There are 193 nations that are in the United Nations. And they're standing in miniature. A gift from June Krebs, one of our long-standing supporters of the United Nations, has given us these flags that we can fly every year. So we're very happy that we have the United Nations because there's no other place where peoples of the world can come together and say, well, we're not going to let people just despoil the land and do what they want here. That's why you have lots of things that you're doing. For instance, you're trying to keep trying to prevent climate change. What do you do to keep the world from getting? What are you doing about climate change at your school? I don't know. No? Do you pack do you save papers at home and put them all together and not just throw them in the trash? Do you collect papers together at home? Anybody here? That's right, you do, right? So that you, what we call that, recycling, right? And you help with recycling at home? You? Okay. And you, so that's, you're doing, what we call is, you are helping to make your carbon footprint less on the earth, and therefore stop climate change. And that's a very important job, because adults have to do that, because we've said that, we know that, although we used to read in the Bible that the world was ours to exploit, we know that it's not. And we know that we must take care of the earth because we have borrowed it from you, Tamir. We borrowed the earth from you. And therefore we want to give it back to you in good condition. Okay? So for several years now, I have been the representative of the United Nations, Unitarian Universalist United Nations office at this church. But I have moved away, and I came back for this day, and I have been what you call the envoy. You didn't know that, but I have been the envoy. And today, Carolyn, you can put down the sign now, because I'm going to give my envoy button to a new person, and this person is, I want to present her to, well, I thought Reverend Kent would be here, but he won't be. I want to present Carolyn Stern to all you boys and girls. I want you to meet Carolyn Stern.
Hello, Carolyn Stern. Good morning.
Carolyn is going to be your new envoy, and I want you to meet her, Reverend Kent, and all the members of USG. This is Carolyn Stern, who's going to be your new envoy. And Carolyn is a graduate of Lower Marion High School. I didn't like that because I went to Abington, arch enemies. But she lives in Abington now. And she earned her bachelor's degree of fine arts at Tyler School of Art. She is the wife and mother of Emma, an 8th grader at Springside Chestnut Hill Academy. She's a licensed massage therapist and has a practice in Jenkintown, and she is an ordained interfaith minister. Currently, among all her other community activities, she visits with hospice patients and is a board member of the Diabetes Foundation, Diabetes Education and Research Fund. So I want you to welcome Reverend Carolyn Stern as your new envoy. And you will have a chance to meet her and greet her in the coffee hour today and talk more with her. She's very knowledgeable, and she really has boned up on all those papers and stuff that I gave her to read, so it's wonderful. So I want to thank you very much for having been so kind to me as the UUUNO representative and making this congregation a blue ribbon congregation fully funded over the years. I know Reverend Carolyn will continue to receive your goodwill and support. Thank you. Shall we sing them out first, or are we going to? Okay, now we're going to sing you out to Sunday school. So long, guys. I'll see you.